as we went through the profile process, creating them, if any of you were looking at the profiles and thinking this profile doesn't match what the road actually looks like, then give yourself a pat on the back. For those of you who didn't think about that, that's totally okay. This is a lot to take it at once. And now that I mentioned it, I'm sure you're looking at this and you're going, wait a second, McCormick Road doesn't have this crazy little dip in it like this. Although sometimes with the potholes, it does feel like that. So we need a way of being able to draw our own profiles to represent new objects or existing objects that we want that aren't directly tied to surface elevation. So that's what we're going to do in this tutorial. I'm going to go and create another copy. Again, do this a lot. Don't want you guys to lose any of your work. Go for D, and this is going to be profile creation. I know it's not so dissimilar from the last name, but I will understand what it means. So that's the important part. I'm going to open it up here. All right, so now that we're looking at our new file, we can go through and actually model our own profiles. And again, you can do this for any profile, any alignment that you have. So you're going to do this also, again, in the profile view tab, or the profile creation tab, sorry. And instead of creating a surface profile, so notice that that profile is made from a surface, we're going to create a profile ourselves. If you also can see there's a star icon besides a lot of these things. Anything with a star icon in Civil 3D typically means you're creating something new. So all of these are new objects or new features that you can create with those star icons. So that's a quick little tip for you guys. Okay, I'm going to go to Profile Creation Tools, and it's asking me to select a profile view. So I'm going to start with Alderman and click around until you can select it. I think the border normally works pretty well. There we go. And I'm going to call this Existing Alderman Road. Here I have a design profile, and so that looks pretty good to me. And then I'm just going to have a complete label set for now, but we're going to change this later. So I'm going to hit OK, and now you can see this profile creation tool pop up. And it looks really, really similar to the alignment creation tool for it. And that's because they work very, very similarly. So if you go to this drop down, you can see, pretty similar options. And so we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to take tangent with curves, and we're going to draw our road elevation that we want. Now, when you think about making a road, there's a couple things to keep in mind. One is that you want your grade to be about 4% or less. You don't want it to be above that unless, you have a really steep mountain climb or something. And that's especially true for heavy duty trucks and cargo. The grade can make a big difference for them. Another consideration is you don't really want your road to ever be super, super flat for a long time either, because if you have a super, super flat road, then water doesn't have a place to naturally flow. And then you could have water pooling on your road, which is very unsafe and could lead to a lot of hazards for drivers. So those are two things to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is that you want your road to pretty closely match the existing surface elevation. Anything a lot higher or a lot lower means more ground that you have to dig out, a tunnel you have to build, a bridge you have to build, dirt you have to fill in, and all that adds cost and time and complexity to your project. Now, I know here we're modeling an existing road, but we can imagine that the designers did a similar thing when they were designing their road. So I'm going to have the object snapping turned on so I can perfectly start at the beginning. Now I'm going to turn it off. I hit F3, and now we can start making our roadway. So I could just connect it straight up to the end, but I think we all know Alderman Road is not quite that flat. So I'm going to do my best to try to follow the shape that I think it takes. So I'm doing this, and I'm building Alderman Road. I'm flattening it out. I know the intersection is, somewhere over here. So I'm going to kind of level it out before it starts dipping back down again. Now I'm going to hit F3 again, so I have that snapping turned on, and I'll snap to the very end and then hit enter. You can see it automatically fills with a bunch of labels. The labels will show you things like where the grade changes, what elevation it's at, and also what the actual grade is. So I said try to keep it under 4%, and so it looks like I did a pretty good job of that. If for some reason you don't have that, so I actually right here I don't have something that's over 4%, I can click on the profile and I can edit it through all of the blue pulls that are there. So I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the squares are your tangents, the upward facing triangles are your point of intersections between the tangents, and then the outward facing triangles are for each tangent as well. So I can go here to the triangle, I can move this down a little bit, try to lower this grade while increasing this one. So keep in mind there's a trade-off there, right, as I do this. And I can also lower this one a little bit. And now you can see this is a much nicer grade than what I had previously of 4.2%, right? So this is a lot better. I'm gonna just change this a little bit. That way it's not totally flat. And that looks pretty good to me. So that's one thing you can do to change it. You can also go through and delete your segments or your subentities and then redraw them as well. So now that we've done that, I'm also just going to go through and edit the label group. So I'm just going to close out of the creation tool. The label group controls all of the text styling that we have going on here. I think the grade breaks aren't really necessary. They're not too hard to distinguish, and the grades here give a lot more information to me, so I want to keep those. So if I select the label group, I can edit the label group here. And here you can see everything that it's showing, and I don't want all of these. So I am just going to delete some of them. So you can see all the different types of labels you can, add to your label style. But for me, I'm actually just going to take these out. So I'm going to click on the ones I don't want. I do want the percent grade, and that's the one I like. But the grade breaks, definitely want to take those out. And the crest curves and sag curves, I'm not really seeing them on here anyways. Let me just hit apply and okay. Yeah, I don't see them here anyways, and I think I know why. It's because I did this tangent without curves, which is not good. So I might need to actually remake this profile. So I think I might have messed up here a little bit, which is totally okay. So I'm just going to redo this really quickly with you guys. I'm just going to delete this and do the same thing again. Distant Alderman Road. Hit OK. And now I'm going to select tangent with curves and quickly redo this. So I already know the general shape I want, so this should go by pretty fast. I did not start at the beginning there. So let me reselect that. I'm glad you guys get to see me mess up. Sometimes it shows you how much there is to think about, so do not feel bad whatsoever if this does not go perfectly smoothly your first time either. Great, that looks good to me. Just checking my grades, making sure I don't have anything over 4%. I do not. And now you can see really all of these curves. The labeling can get really, really messy, and that's why I think it's important to get rid of some of it, because I don't think it's really necessary. Just to show you what it does, it has for every curve you have, it shows you the beginning of the curve, the end of curve, a bunch of different elevation stations, values that make more sense when you know how roadways are designed, which you will cover or maybe have already covered a little bit in class. If you're interested in this stuff a lot, definitely check out transportation engineering. I think it's 3400 with Professor Chen, at least in 2025. 5 and before. She's great, and the class is really cool. I'm going to edit this label group, and I'm going to take out the grade breaks and those crest and sag curves. Hit apply and OK, and this is much, much cleaner. I like this a lot. It shows me the information I need, and hopefully you follow along with this one, and you're going to do the same thing for the next 2 profiles as well. Before you do that, though, I want to show you one helpful thing you can do that adds the intersections, so to say, to the profile views, so you can get an idea of where specifically they are. So to do that, you can click on a profile. I'm going to start with McCormick. It's going to be easiest to see here. And from here, there should be a way to add the crossings to your profile views. So I'm gonna just look for that a little bit here. It might be easier to find from the Home tab. Yeah, so on the Home tab, I found it here. Add crossings to profile view. So I'll select a profile view. You can see I have one profile selected. And from here, I'm going to hit enter. And now it's asking me to select another profile view that's being added to. So I'm going to do that onto Alderman. And I'm going to make sure to select the one that I just drew. Or do I just select the viewport? There we go. I just select the full viewport. So here you can see I can add the crossing, and now on my Alderman Road, it shows all of the crossing information, which is really nice. Again, don't think the labels are super necessary. I'm going to delete them. But you can see the X remains there, so you can know where the crossing is. And if you want to keep the label there, you're more than welcome to. So repeat that process. I'm going to show it all here, but sped up. I'm going to add all of my crossings. I'm going to also design the 2 extra profiles. These ones are going to be harder to keep them under 4%, but try your best. All right, so I finished up here. You can see all 3 of my profiles are made, and I cleaned up the styling. I added the intersections. I don't think the Treehouse Drive one showed up with Alderman because it's right on the very edge of the profile. But you can see also for Treehouse Drive, I wasn't able to get it quite under 4%. There's some places where it's definitely a little bit over. If I was using, more of the end space here, and a little bit more of the beginning, it might be possible to definitely at least get this smoother. But if your PS Drive is not under 4% everywhere, that's totally okay. It's a side road. It's going to be pretty steep, and that's okay. So this is what you need to have done for this part of the profile creation. And also keep in mind you can use the drives on these if you ever want to, by clicking on one of the alignments. You can do that to view them. And from here, we're now going to go on to assemblies, which is the section views of your alignments and your roads.